What's going on, guys? CTG Matt back. Read the title today. We're talking about every MLB trade deadline move so far that has happened. There's going to be some ones breaking too while I'm recording this video. I just know it. Like, for instance, Harrison Bader just got traded to the Phillies. That helps their corner outfield a ton. Max Kepler got benched the last few days because he's been pretty bad. And Harrison Bader's had a really good year in Minnesota for his standards. Fielding-wise, he hasn't been the same. I watched a few games. His fielding is still really good, don't get me wrong, but it's not like he's the traditional center fielder that he once was, but he is hitting a lot better. And the Twins definitely helped that. You know, it seems like a lot of guys have had revitalizations with the Twins recently. Carlos Santana last year had a really good year. Ryan Jeffers, even guys like that. Guys have had really good years in Minnesota altogether, but Harrison Bader put together a really good half a season, and now it's time to go to Philadelphia. Philadelphia needed corner outfield help. They got it. We're going to talk about what else they needed that they also addressed. We'll start off with the less exciting ones, like yesterday when the Reds traded for Ke'Bryan Hayes. They traded away Sammy Stafura and Taylor Rogers. Both the Rogers brothers got moved yesterday, so that's really fun. When they move in unison. They're really twins, right? Ke'Bryan Hayes to the Reds, though, makes perfect sense. The Reds have had a struggle at third base for a while. Remember, they brought in Jeimer Candelario thinking he'd be the answer. I love Jeimer Candelario, but he was atrocious as a Red. He ends up getting DFA'd. They try Encarnacion Strand, I believe, maybe even Noelvi Marte. They've plugged 100 guys into that third base role, and it hasn't stuck. Now, Ke'Bryan Hayes is not a bat. We've seen that. Hits the ball on the ground way too much. Doesn't consistently barrel the ball, and doesn't have the best plate vision either. So there's flaws in Ke'Bryan Hayes' game, but the one part where there isn't a flaw in Ke'Bryan Hayes' game is on defense. He can pick it. He is a hot corner specialist. He took a platinum glove away from Nolan Arenado, I believe. Ke'Bryan Hayes has no doubt been one of the best fielding third basemen in the league since he's debuted in 2019, 2020. It was around there. He's been really good picking it. And they traded away Sammy Stafura, who, in my opinion, isn't a bad prospect, isn't a great one either. He has really good on-base percentage, a career, I believe it's like 360 or something like that on base in the minor leagues. He's been really good. Might be a little bit higher. I think I'm underplaying that. He also does have 55 stolen bases in the minor leagues. He's got really good speed, really good on base. That's something. He can stick at shortstop. So the Pirates getting him. He could play shortstop there maybe. I don't know what their plan is. I really do like that the Pirates are trading away Ke'Bryan Hayes, though. I like Ke'Bryan Hayes a lot. It just hasn't worked out for him there, all things considered. I really like him. He was one of my favorite players in baseball, and I thought he was going to take a step up after 2023. 2024 was a big step back, and 2025 has been basically the same. So I haven't given up on Ke'Bryan Hayes, but I don't think that he is per se going to fix their team, but he is filling a hole that they needed filled bad. Now we can go talk about some other moves, like the Mets yesterday trading for Tyler Rogers. They got rid of Blade Tidwell and Drew Gilbert. That's who they sent. Blade Tidwell, I really don't mind as a prospect. He's 6'4", but he throws a bunch of pitches. I kind of like a prospect that throws a bunch of junk. He throws a four-seam fastball, he throws a sinker, he throws a cutter, he throws a curveball, he throws a slider, he throws a sweeper, he throws a changeup. It's Yu Darvish-esque. He has a mid-90s fastball, so it really is prime Yu Darvish-esque. He's 6'4", though, and he has decent ride on his fastball, but what I've seen, his fastball's kind of gotten rocked this year. But I do love a good prospect here and there that just throws a shit ton of pitches. It's fun to see. I also do like Drew Gilbert. He's not bad. He has good on-base percentage, for instance. He has 136 walks to 216 Ks at the minor league level. That's pretty damn good if you're an anti-strikeout guy or a high on-base fan, which I think everyone is. I've seen, now listen, I got no beef with Mets fans. Some of y'all might be remedial, though. All right, why am I seeing them saying we just traded away Pete Crow Armstrong again? Drew Gilbert is older than Pete Crow Armstrong. Drew Gilbert is older than PCA and hasn't seen a lick of MLB action. It's not to say he can't ever be a good player, but stop with the PCA stuff. All right, Mets fans, I get it. You probably have some trade PTSD trading away Pete Crow for Javi Baez and Trevor Williams. But Drew Gilbert is not PCA, all right? That's just what it is. He's older than Pete Crow Armstrong. He doesn't have the power profile or the fielding profile. Again, it doesn't mean he can't be a good player, but again, he's just not Pete Crow Armstrong. Mets fans, also, you guys traded away Jared Kelenic, in all fairness, so you've had it both ways, trading away your top outfield prospect. So Tyler Rogers for the Mets fills a big need, though, because the Mets have been pretty bad out of the bullpen recently. Huascar Brazoban just got sent down, I believe, the other day. A couple of their guys, besides Edwin Diaz. He is money this year again. I love it. Love me some Edwin Diaz. But otherwise than that, like, they're relying on Ryan Stanek to be their closer some games. Not ideal. Hoskar was really good to start the year, but he kind of cooled down. I think he was overworked, overused. They needed him a lot early, and it shows. Relievers who really start strong typically start to waver toward the end of the year because, well, you're pitching 70 some odd innings, 80 innings maybe. Especially Braziban. They used him as a pinch starter, I believe, one game when they didn't have one. You know what I mean? Kind of a bullpen game, but he started a game, I believe. My recording just randomly stopped midway through. That's not ideal. I was still talking about the Mets when it got cut, I believe. Which means I hadn't talked about Shane Bieber getting traded for Kyle Steffen. Steven, either way. Steven is a 6'4" fastball, a decent fastball, nice curveball. He could be like a 4 or 5 starter. A lot of publications say Shane Bieber still hasn't pitched for the Guardians this year, so it's not ideal. But also the Jays get a potential second, third starter. Their starting rotation has been very bad this year. Max Scherzer hasn't been great. Kevin Gausman's been all right. Chris Bassett's been probably their best starter, up there with Barrios. But even Barrios has had his struggles. So overall, I do like that the Jays went out and got a starter. It is a buy low starter because, again, Shane Bieber's coming off of a season-ending injury. I forget what one he had. He didn't have TOS. He might have just had TJ. I can't remember off the top of my head. But Bieber in last season, before he went down with the injury when he was pitching, Shane Bieber was really damn good for the Guardians. And, of course, the injury took him out. But either way, he was really good in the starts that he had last year. The Mets also acquired Ryan Helsley for Jesus Baez, Nate Dome, and Frank Elisol. I don't know who Frank Elisol is, but that's an 80s baseball name if I've ever heard it. Ryan Helsley, of course, was maybe the best reliever in baseball in 2024. Maybe not. Emmanuel Clase was pretty good. But either way, he was a top 3 closer in baseball last year, 100%. This season, it's been up and down. His last 15 or so appearances have been relatively good, but before that he was struggling. Like I said, been up and down. He has that plus fastball. He throws 105, it feels like, and a filthy slider as well. One of the harder closers to hit in baseball. And who did they trade away? They traded away Jesus Baez, who I think has a decent eye at the plate. He doesn't have hit for a high average, but he does have a decent on base. So he'll hit like 220 average, but he did have a 330, 340 on base, which is pretty damn good for a guy who's hitting a 220 average. There is plus power in there, so he could be a 3 true outcome type of hitter. Either way, you take what you can get. Not a ton of contact. Like I said, he's like a 2 to 4 hitter in terms of like average 240, 220 to 240 hitter. He is only 21 years old. Plenty of time. They also acquired Nate Dome, who I am a little bit more familiar with. A real gritty type of pitcher. Real first one in, last one out type of guy. A mid to low 90s fastball. A decent amount of off speed. He fills the strike zone. He tries to limit hard hits. He's not the best. He's not the filthiest pitcher you'll ever see, but he seems like an innings thrower, and the Cardinals do just need innings throwers. It feels like the Cardinals just have a bunch of innings throwers every year. Shout out to Miles Michaelis. He's a true innings thrower. Even Steven Matz was like a true innings thrower. The Phillies got Yohan Duran for Eduardo Taiit and Mick Abel. Mick Abel I am relatively high on still, even though in the major leagues he did look a little bit rough this year. He just walks too many people. In his last start, he had 5 walks and one in, I think it was like 1 2/3. That's just, it's too high. Your whip's going to be too high, and it's not sustainable. You walk 3 guys, and then you allow a base hit. You potentially just allowed 3 runs to score. You know, so you can't be giving away free passes. We all know that. This isn't rocket science. It's just command struggles, but his velo is still there. He still throws hard, so there is some upside there. I keep saying it. There is upside there. I'll keep banging the table. There is upside there, even though his major league tenure didn't look great. However, they also got Eduardo Taiit, who I think it's Taiit. But either way, he has a very good arm as a catcher. 18 years old. That's still really young with a plus arm. He also has some power potential, they say. He has 52 doubles in 206 minor league games, I believe, which is really damn productive. They say he also caught a good percentage of base stealers on him, talking about Eduardo Taiit. I think about it, and the Twins don't necessarily have a catcher that I'm thinking of that would stop Eduardo Taiit from playing if he became a good prospect. Like Ryan Jeffers is good, but he's not that good. And Christian Vasquez probably doesn't deserve to be starting anymore, but he's still kind of doing that. For the Phillies, again, your bullpen has been very hit or miss. Very hit or miss. I really like that one kid they got. I gotta go find what his name is. Oh, no, I don't. It's Max Lazar. I really do like Max Lazar. But, again, you need more bullpen pieces. Yohan Duran, of course, he throws 100 million miles per hour. He's not a strikeout guy. He's more of a ground ball guy, but the Phillies have a pretty decent infield defense, in my opinion, so they should be able to make it work. Overall, I think I like this trade for both sides. Of course, Abel Anti is a little bit of a high price for a reliever in Duran, but you got to pay when, again, the Phillies don't really have, I guess neither team really has leverage in that spot, because if the Phillies don't trade for bullpen, they're going to get buried. No offense, Phillies fans, but you desperately freaking needed it. And every team knows you're desperate for it, so there goes your leverage. And then on top of that, the other side doesn't have leverage in the Twins because everyone knows you're looking to trade your guys. I don't know, I kind of like this for both sides. Now we're starting to talk about the more recent ones. The Mariners last night reacquired Eugenio Suarez for Tyler Locklear, Hunter Cranton, and Juan Burgos. Of course, Eugenio Suarez, one of the MLB leaders in home runs. He's got like 36 this year. He had a 4-homer game against the Braves, I believe, earlier this year. I think that was a 4. He's just special. I'm such a Eugenio Suarez fan. His defense has taken a step back, I will say, this season, but he is crushing the damn ball. I mean, I don't know how much you're going to complain about mid to not great defense when the guy has 36 homers. He's hitting bombs every other night, it seems. For the Mariners, you keep trading with the D-backs because you also just got Josh Naylor from them. So it's going to be fun. You still have the same 2 people on the corners that the Diamondbacks just did. But also, you combine that with the fact that, like, they needed hitting pretty bad. Ben Williamson was not the answer at third base. And Luke Raley, while I don't mind Luke Raley, I definitely don't think he's a full-time starting first baseman. He's definitely better in a platoon role. Of course, he still can, I guess. He can play corner outfield too, so that definitely helps. But they definitely needed to solidify their corner infield. Like I said, Ben Williamson, and then Rowdy Tellez was playing for the Mariners early in the season. That switched to Luke Raley when Raley came back, but even then, you still needed a third baseman. Sorry, Ben Williamson. I still think he can do well on a bench role, but just not as a starter. And Eugenio Suarez was the best third baseman on the market, the best third baseman you were going to get, and you already had him. So he's familiar with it. Tyler Locklear is a first baseman who I believe is going to be another NL West haunter, as the rest of every Diamondbacks first baseman turns into. Tyler Locklear in his MLB career hasn't necessarily found his footing in the limited time he's played, but in the minor leagues, his whole minor league career, he has an .895 OPS. In AAA this season, 92 games, he has a .942 OPS. He's in the 82nd percentile for zone swing rate, which is, again, it's a bold strategy to only swing at strikes. Feels like a bold strategy, but it works sometimes. Who'd have thought? And then he's also in the 90th percentile in max exit velocity. I know a lot of people like max exit velocity because it shows that you're putting, barrel on ball and you're hitting the ball hard. So I kind of threw that in there. So yes, while Locklear has kind of struggled to find his footing at the major league level, there's still hope. And on top of that, the Diamondbacks have done a really, really good job at player development recently, especially with first baseman. Like I said, Christian Walker comes in after the Paul Goldschmidt years, and Christian Walker, a guy who was a career backup, finds his footing and becomes an elite first baseman for them. And then they trade for Josh Naylor, and Naylor's having not a career year, but definitely close to a career year before he gets traded as well. So I believe in the Diamondbacks' ability to develop Tyler Locklear. Unfamiliar with Juan Burgos, so I'll talk about Hunter Cranton, who has a decent fastball, decent command. He's a real typical relief arm. He seems like he'll be a innings thrower if necessary, and honestly, the Diamondbacks just need a bunch of pitchers. They've struggled for pitching for a few years now, so I mean, getting pitchers back in general is definitely necessary for them, and getting any relief arm will also help them because specifically in the bullpen, it's been hurt. Justin Martinez went down earlier this season, and so that kind of screwed them over out of the pen. AJ Puck did too, so they're struggling on relief arms. They just need arms out of the pen right now to get innings in, and I think Hunter Cranton can do that, albeit he doesn't throw hard, and like I said, he has alright command, but he is a decent relief option, no less. The more recent big trade was the Padres landing Mason Miller for Leo DeVries, Braden Nett, Eduarniel Nunez, and Henry Baez. Of course, Mason Miller is one of the best closers in baseball. He has like a 3 ERA this year, which definitely shocked me, not going to lie. But he does allow the home run ball. Typically, if you make contact on a 104-mile-an-hour fastball, it gonna go far. But Mason Miller is still an elite relief pitcher. It feels like they're also going to move Robert Suarez now that they know they have Mason Miller and they have their fireballer out of the back end. The Padres win the bullpen Olympics every time. It's just what happens to the catcher Olympics. I mean, it's really crazy how they're like gold medalists in the acquiring relief options tier, but then they are not even placing in the get a damn catcher tier. Maybe they're waiting for Ethan Salas. I don't know. AJ Preller is a baseball terrorist who will throw shit at a fan, and it works sometimes here and there. You know, Leo DeVries for Mason Miller is interesting to me. I don't know if I'd consider it an overpay, but it is a hefty price. This is like when you can get Ryan Helsley and you'll pay like, it's kind of like at the grocery store where it's like, yeah, I can get this cheese for $2, but I can get this sharp cheese for $3.50. You know what I mean? It's like you're just paying a little bit more. I don't know. Leo DeVries is a really good prospect, a really high upside prospect. I won't say he's been crushing it in the minor leagues, but he is 18 years old. There's power potential there. He seems like he has pretty decent speed. Maybe even a glove will be there at the major league level. You don't know. But AJ Preller, if nothing else, is a man who will trade prospects, and he has no fear in doing so. Which, again, I don't mind that strategy, but it was definitely shocking to see a prospect as hyped and as talented as Leo DeVries get moved for a closer. Also, Braden Nett isn't that bad. He struggled at Double-A. He's 24 years old, but it's because he doesn't have great control. He has 5.6 walks per 9 in the minors. That's not great, but he does throw hard. Nett has a plus fastball with decent command. He seems like he could be a real fixture in the rotation, maybe. I'm not as high on him as I am with Henry Baez. Again, I don't know about Enwarniel Nunez like that. I'm not familiar with him. Henry Baez, though, 1.96 ERA and a 1.003 whip in Double-A. He's only 22 years old. He has a good splitter as well. I'm not all that high on Henry Baez, all things considered. Honestly, the other prospects, I like Braden Nett, don't get me wrong, but getting Leo DeVries was definitely the pinnacle. You know, that was the one that was like, oh shit, they got DeVries, really? I had to double take, I'm not going to lie to you. I realized while editing, I didn't even talk about the other part of the trade for Mason Miller, is that the Padres also got JP Sears, who is like a 5-starter at best. But I only want to throw this in there for one reason. I know a group of people is really hyped to see that the Padres got JP Sears. He was a Yankees prospect. I don't care about him. I know Yankees fans don't really care about him either. You know who really likes seeing JP Sears get traded to the Padres, though? Rangers fans. That motherfucker tormented them for a while. JP Sears cooked the Rangers, and now he's finally out of division. Maybe the Rangers can beat the ooey spooky freaking A's for once, now that JP Sears isn't pitching against them. As I talk to you about these trades, there's still stuff firing off. The Dodgers just got Brock Stewart. Bam. Brock Stewart, decent reliever. The Dodgers are just desperate for arms, dude. They'll take anyone. I'm surprised they haven't made calls about Dennis Santana yet, or guys like that, because they just need arms desperately. I'm wondering, though, like Griffin Jacks got used yesterday, and the Twins are in that weird spot where they're like hugging players goodbye, like Willie Castro and stuff, and it's so damn awkward over there in Minnesota. They traded Harrison Bader, which wasn't the guy I was expecting. I mean, I knew they were going to trade him, but I don't know. Castro was kind of on my mind. I don't know, dude. It's just Minnesota's got a lot going on. It's loud over there, and they're not good. The Dodgers are just desperate for pitching, though. I still haven't seen the prospect return package, so I can't talk about it. But overall, like, this deadline has been insane to start. Feinsand is reporting that Luis Robert is unlikely to be traded, which that's kind of a bummer. But the White Sox have been hot recently, so maybe they're just like, screw it, let's hold on to our guys and make a little run here, have some fun. Lubob can be a part of that, don't get me wrong, but this is Colson Montgomery's team, bud. Overall, it's kind of crazy the type of reliever movement that we're seeing. There's a ton of relievers being bounced back and forth. My Yankees haven't done a damn thing about relief pitching. You just watched Devin Williams shit a game away last night before they eventually won it again. But you watched Devin Williams completely shit away a game in the 9th inning. Luke Weaver is rounding it out, but still allowing hard contact, which is kind of scary to think about. If there's another trade, I will definitely be jumping in to talk about it again. But until then, if you've enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, comment down below, talk to me about what your favorite team did over the deadline, how excited you are. Who would you like to have seen your team go get that they didn't get? Or just sound off about your front office not trading anyone, because I could do the same thing with my Yankees. Again, the bullpen's terrible and they haven't made a trade, so it is what it is. I guess we'll see what happens. I'm going to go catch the game. See you guys in the next one. Thanks for joining.